Okay, what's your full name?
Richard Leroy Trang,
Okay, and did you have a nickname growing up or anything?
commonly just known as Rich.
Okay. When and where were you born?
I was born in 1945 in Scobie, Montana.
Scobie, Montana. Okay. And how were you related to Karen Marta?
My grandmother Trang was a Paulson,
Okay.
and Anna Paulson was granddaughter
Yep.
of Karen Marta.
So I think we discovered yesterday you're Karen Marta's great great
Great, great. Yes.
grandson.
Right.
Right? Awesome. Do you have a favorite childhood story you want to share?
Well, not a particular one, other than just the fact that my childhood, I spent the first 8 years on a farm,
Okay.
and my memories of the farm years is almost a separate lifetime.
Oh, how
Uh,
come do you think?
I was attached at the hip to my dad,
Oh, fun.
um, and my dad was the kind of person that didn't believe that a person couldn't do something unless you had actually tried it and failed.
Oh, marvelous.
So it was the learning experience I had with him was just phenomenal.
Oh, I can't even imagine actually.
I was I remember the summer before I went to the first grade.
Mm-hmm.
I He had a belt that had a belt buckle on it. He used to strike his farmer's matches on it to
Yes.
other cigarettes, and I wanted a belt buckle like that. And I found one in Montgomery Ward catalog, $2.98. So
That was kind of expensive back then.
that was. Uh, but he made me earn it. So I had my own tractor and my own baler, and the baler had a counter on it.
Yep.
And I remember baling in the West 40, and I knew when that counter turned to 298, and I wore that belt to school in my first day of first grade.
Do you remember how long you had the belt buckle?
No, I don't. It wasn't the belt buckle itself that was so precious. It was the fact that my dad was the kind of person that just just because I was only 6 years old
Yeah.
doesn't mean I couldn't drive a tractor by myself.
Oh, you were only 6 when you drove the tractor. I wasn't putting that together.
Yeah, it was the summer before I went to the first grade.
Oh, that's awesome. I wasn't putting that
And
together.
I was alone. I mean, he was in another field.
Talk about the
Yeah.
trust he must have had.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's an awesome story.
So it's so that whole part of my life is a special memory.
Yes, definitely. So how did your family come to live where you were born?
Well, my mother was a Beekler, and she was raised in the Baylor community,
Okay.
and Dad was in the Ossett community, and I'm not sure how they met,
Okay.
but they were married in 1944, and then when my grandfather Trang
Mhm.
left the farm, we assumed running the farm,
Okay.
and then we were there until 1953, and as I understand it, at that time, my grandfather decided that it was time for Leyland to take over the farm. So that's when we sold all the cattle
Okay.
and moved into town. And
Was Leyland the oldest?
no, Leyland was the second from the youngest.
Okay.
Dad was the third from the youngest.
Okay.
And Myron is the youngest.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
There was seven kids
Oh,
in
goodness.
the family. So then we went to Glasgow, and he bought the Coast to Coast store in 1953,
Okay.
and then he passed away at age 39
Oh, that was pretty young, huh?
in 1963. He passed away from a brain hemorrhage.
Oh, goodness.
He was at a football game that I was playing in, and it was raining and muddy,
Yep.
and he was climbing up the bleachers, and slipped and fell and cut his head open.
Oh, goodness.
And then a few days later, Mom couldn't wake him up to
Oh,
go to work. So he went to Rochester and he recovered from that.
yep.
And then was home during the recovery period
Mhm.
for a number of months. And then in May of '63, he was going from the living room into the bedroom and
Mhm.
kind of stumbled and hit his head against the door jamb. And the next morning, she couldn't wake him up, and then he passed away the next
Yeah.
day after.
Well, that's
or
a
something.
special story. Thanks for sharing.
So-
Seriously. Do you have any, like, of your earliest childhood memories that you? It's probably the farm ones, huh?
Oh yes,
Definitely. Anything special?
I do remember. Strangely enough, I do remember my very first memory. Excuse me.
That's okay.
I was standing in my crib,
Oh, how awesome.
and I was in the bedroom, and I was standing, holding on to the bar, and the dresser was off to the side, and we had a kerosene lamp
Mm-hmm.
on the dresser, and my mom and dad were getting ready for bed, and I think the thing that caused me to remember this
Mm-hmm.
is that Mom was getting undressed and Dad slapped her in the rear, just as a joke,
Yeah.
and for some reason that stuck.
Isn't that interesting?
But I had no idea. I was standing up in a crib,
Right.
so
Who knows how old you were?
who knows? Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you noticed throughout your family, is there any physical characteristics that you guys all have in common, or?
No, not really.
Okay.
One characteristic that I feel like I've been really, really blessed about
Yeah.
is the fact that we've got history of diabetes on both
Oh.
my father's side and my mother's side, and I've escaped that.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah,
Makes you
Okay.
kind of wonder.
yeah. I've had a cousin that's 2 years younger that's passed away,
Okay.
and it just.
Well, I'm glad
it's-
you mentioned that.
It's a blessing.
Yes, it is. Out of all the things you've learned from your parents, what do you feel has been the most valuable?
Probably not being afraid of doing something
Mm-hmm.
just because I haven't done it before.
Right.
I can't. It's hard to express the value that I feel that I was taught. Because not only on a farm, but
Mm-hmm.
after we came into town and he bought the Coast to Coast store, I started working in that store right
Mhm.
when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
And it was just almost like there's part of me that was an adult from the beginning.
Yes, exactly. It sounds like it.
Maybe that I wasn't an adult, but that Dad expected me to be
Yeah.
an adult.
Expectations do a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to add that we didn't go over that you want to put in there?
No, other than my mother lived to 87 years old.
Oh,
She
goodness.
passed away in 2010.
Okay.
So I've had a wonderful life.
Oh, great.